Hi everyone, it's Kate Dorsey. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. I do this every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. There's my beautiful church bells. And I'm super excited for today. Megan Davies is going to be joining us. I'm just queuing it up to invite her so that she can join us. Oh, here she is. Oh, she's so on it. Yay. Oh, scrolling back up. Catherine, hey Leanna, Lily, sorry, I totally think I mispronounced that. Yay! Oh my gosh. This
Right
is
away.
the first,
I love it.
this is a record. This is the first time I've ever done an FB Live with another person and it went this smoothly. Normally I'm over here talking for like 20 minutes. So you guys, this is Megan Davies. I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. Thank you everyone for joining. Hey, Megan, could you tell them just a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. I am
Yes.
pumped to be here. Super exciting to collaborate with another amazing service-based entrepreneur. Um, yeah, again, my name is Megan Davies. I'm the owner of Authentic Nutrition Coaching. So I offer a combination of transformative coaching with beautiful, vibrant, healthy cooking lessons. So I do that virtually and in person, focuses on nutrient density and flavor, of course.
Oh, I love this. So can you tell us just a little bit about like what authentic nutrition means and like what you're really getting into? Like you mentioned cooking, but like what else is involved in that?
Yeah, so I really like to set my clients up for success. I, like you, like to work in the mindset and the
Yeah.
language. Um,
Yeah.
and in combination with the cooking classes, like I use cooking as experiential learning for the coaching. So
Oh,
they're getting in the practice of nourishing themselves every day and how that starts to disassemble limiting beliefs that they had about themselves. And I really love that. So um, I've been into nutrition for 8 years and I'm an entrepreneur. So integrity is one of my most important values. And I want to create easy, delicious, healthy recipes that fuel me. And of course, my clients are busy too. So I really like to specialize in that and just making it easy for them, right? Don't we
I,
all need
yeah,
easy
I think
nutrition?
yes, yeah, because that's what I love. Because a lot of times people get into, first off, I'm so in alignment with limiting beliefs. Like they affect every area of your life. And if you do not work through them, you're really going to be blocked. What I also love is that you're talking about making it easy. Because how many times are there clients that you work with that it's really like, oh, I've got to do all these things. And there's like this whole long process and like so many steps. And then someone's like overwhelmed. And before you know it, they've stopped. They've stopped the plan and they've walked away. And so I think it's really great that you're focusing on let's make this easy. Let's make this doable. Let's set you up for success. And
Yeah.
so as we're talking about that, what is the like when you're working with your clients, what are the steps you actually take them through?
Yeah. So number one, whether it's just like someone's stuck on something, they're a client, I always get people to think about their why. What's motivating them? And it's never the thing that they think it is. It's always deeper. So
Mm,
what's a common one? Weight loss for women. All women,
yeah.
just 10 pounds, just 10. It's always just 10 pounds. It's just like a little bit not okay. So, but it's never 10 pounds. 10 pounds is nothing, you know?
Right.
It's like, well, when I lose the weight, then. And so it's the
Mm-hmm.
if then statement. Like, well, if I do it, then I will finally love myself. Then I'll finally trust myself. Then I
Yes.
will feel powerful and beautiful in my own body. Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I start working out, then I might actually develop some confidence. Like it's never the thing, it's always the emotional state that we're craving. And I teach my clients this with food cravings too, which it's one of my favorite things. Like people come up to me and they're like, Megan, I'm an emotional eater. It's like we're all emotional
Yep.
eaters. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so,
So
it's
true.
like it's all a tool. We have so many tools to change our emotional state. Caffeine, alcohol, exercise, breath, like all of these are tools, nutrition, obviously,
Yeah,
that allow us to
totally.
change our emotional state. And so, like, I love to get rid of the shame and the guilt, which is part of what keeps people on the spiral. Once you like
Yeah.
knock that out, then you can start seeing things clearly and be unattached to your, I guess, results,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, so like what you're really saying is you dig deep. You go straight into what are the limiting beliefs, what's behind it. And I mean, you're so right because like when it comes to cravings, like what you're eating can indicate what's going on. Like what, because I've done a lot of work around that where it's like what is the emotion that's
Yeah.
driving the craving, and it's so essential. So I love that you tackle what's really underlying, because you're right, when we set ourselves up for I'll be happy when I'm 10 pounds thinner. Okay, well there's like you've got a block there, and that's a real problem because you want to be able to be happy in the here and now. And so you take them through the why, but what's the next step that you really use?
Yeah. So after that, I create systems. So,
Mm,
we were talking about this a little bit beforehand, but I always tell my clients this: systems instead of willpower. And like, I constantly am repeating it so that when a system breaks down, they're like, oh, what's my backup system? Because in that moment, they're like, oh, I see what she's saying. Because in this moment, I have to really want to, So an example of a system instead of willpower is usually at the beginning of our sessions, once we got clear on the why and what's really going on. A few sessions in, I'll do a pantry overhaul with them, or I'll
fantastic.
suggest they like declutter their house a bit. So like
Yeah.
usually like that's a type. There's different types I work with, but like, like maybe they lost their keys or something. It's like, okay, like where else is this showing up in your life?
So true.
But system instead of willpower. So if you're trying to tame the sugar dragon, don't have sugar in the house. Like make it
Mhm.
easy. So if you're having a sugar craving and all you have is like some apples, looks like you're having an apple.
Right. I love this because what you're really sharing here is that instead of taking it and making it a place where we can develop shame, where we're like, oh, I didn't do this, I wasn't successful, this is really hard,
Yeah.
we shift it into what do we need to tweak. I myself have done like numerous Whole30s. And so, like, one of the key pieces to make that successful is really like clean out your pantry. Like, don't have the temptation there
Yep.
because it's really hard to like white knuckle through that. And then ultimately, I always joke with a lot of my clients, your room, your house, it's totally reflective of what's going on in your life. Like, there are times when like I've
Yep.
like got so much going on and I'm like, I think that my hamper has like bulimia because it's like moving across the floor. So I'm like, okay, like we need to clean
Yeah.
it up.
I love
But
it.
it's so true. Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
true. I can always like look at the state of my house and tell like, have I been
What's going on?
meditating just by like looking at the state of my house? It's like, oh,
So
like I haven't worked out in like 2 days, which like I work out really regularly to manage
mm,
my mindset and like to
same.
lessen anxiety. Um,
Hmm.
because I got a busy mind, so the exercise brings me down and allows me to
Yeah.
operate out of a place of focus. But if I stop working out, my house gets messy because it's like this like turbulent energy
You're
that's
like,
not
ah,
productive.
running towards me. Yeah, I love it.
So
No, I'm right there with you. I'm super consistent as well. I've got like a solid morning routine with like meditation and then
yeah,
always a workout. Like, consistency is key.
yeah.
And it really does. Like, I mean, you're not kidding. It really changes things.
Hmm.
So we do have a question, and I know I want to get into like kind of like the differences with like willpower, but Catherine's asking, whoops, Catherine, I accidentally just wowed that. I don't know how. Any suggestions to help our teenager not eat so much sugar? They can go get whatever they want on their own. I love not keeping sweets in the house.
Okay. So, this is a great question. I really love this. You have to like, it's tricky. So,
Yeah.
out of my philosophy, I don't believe in deprivation, which is one of the reasons I believe a lot of diets fail. And that's like a
Mm-hmm.
mindset thing of like, none, I can't do it. It's like, I really try and add things in so it feels very abundant. Um, because deprivation is a diet, not a lifestyle, and that's why it fails.
Yep.
So, teenager is not eat so much sugar. So you're just
Right.
wanting to lessen it. It says, and then you say whatever on their own, not keeping much sweets in the house. So part of that is rewiring. So sugar There's a really cool study. Well, I mean, it's a little frustrating, really, but rats work harder for sugar than they do heroin.
Yep, I've read that study.
So, one of the best things, and as you say, like I love not keeping it in the house, is to, and this is something I can help you with, is to do a pantry overhaul. So it's hidden in a lot of things like ketchup, barbecue sauce, like sports drinks, just most beverages like iced tea. The troublesome part is that it's hidden in a lot of foods that might be healthy. Like, oh,
Right.
it's in a green tea, but turns out there's like 9 grams of sugar in there. So, you know, I would try and do healthier alternatives. That could be like water in the fridge with some fruit or herbal tea. You can like sweeten that with honey. There's a lot of different like tweaks that you can do. And then the other thing is like, as you're saying, and this is a Cookie Monster quote, is treating sugar as a sometimes snack. So it's okay every once in a while, but perhaps that's creating the structure of Monday through Friday because you're in school and your brain is really important. We don't have sweets. And like maybe you have dessert on the weekend only or something like that. So yeah, just it's really tricky, and especially if you're going out to eat more, like even like ordered in pizza, like there's sugar in the tomato sauce.
Yep.
Um, yeah, I do tend to push towards cooking mostly from home if you can, and just try and find a ratio that's sustainable, that doesn't stress you out, because nutrition is something that we have to create community and joy and to nourish our bodies. So I would just choose somewhere to start and allow yourself to grow, but like don't start at an incredible rate. So like if you want to train for the marathon, don't go out tomorrow and run 6 miles, right?
No, that is a bad idea. That's
So
why
I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, and I love what you're sharing there. So one of the other things I think is really key is that like fruit is literally nature's candy. And so if we've got a lot of fruit in the house too, because sugar is it's like literally addictive. Like, I mean, that study really shows it. It's like, it's really powerful. It's really potent, but what can be really awesome is like a 30-day sugar detox. And then it's so interesting to see what happens. So like, those are just some other strategies to build on. And I know we were getting into willpower, and I would love to talk just a little bit about how we could overcome, like, because I really want us to be successful. I want you guys to really benefit from this live that Megan and I are doing, because I want you guys to recognize that there are times that we have setbacks, and I would love for you guys to start to see them as a setback so that you can begin to develop more and more successful behaviors. So ultimately, when you were talking about the systems, I felt like you were kind of pointing out that willpower really doesn't work. And I'm wondering if there's another reframe or another way for us to approach it so that we can really like be successful with this.
Yeah, so I love that you're using the word reframe. I don't use the word failure. It's like a potty word. I just don't use it.
It's a dirty word.
So, like I said, like a huge core of what I do is I just like lose the grief, like lose the shame, because it's not a place that you can actually grow out of. And really it's self-bullying. So I drop that and I get my clients to start shifting up their language. So with willpower, even when you like things fall through, you have a system, you're like, oh, well, shoot, I forgot my beautiful homemade meal that I made last night. So what's my system? Do I like go out to the restaurant? Like, how do I make the healthiest choice? Which is like the backup system. So it's like, I forgot my lunch. So like, how can I make the healthiest choice? Instead of like, fuck it, I deserve it. It's like, I find my clients are just like, it's either like, I'm rocking it out, I'm doing like healthy stuff, I feel awesome, or like, I'm doing nothing. It's like either or. It's like, well, it's a spectrum, and allow yourself to be on the spectrum as you're learning. And like, it's not sustainable to think you're going to be a rock star every single day. So
go to a wedding and let yourself have some cake or something.
Right. The reframe of like, okay, like why did I forget my lunch? Or like what was going on? I like get my clients to start getting curious about their habits and participating in creating awareness of like, okay, so turns out I like slept in and I gave myself like 20 minutes to get out the door. So that's why I forgot my lunch. Okay, like noted. So that's kind of what I would say on setbacks, to just like sort of pay attention and be curious in the process,
Mhm.
because it's a process and there's no there. You're like,
Right.
well, when? It's like there's no, it's like yoga is a practice. You're never there. You're always
No.
learning and exploring, and it's the same with diet and habit and lifestyle.
Yeah. So it's really like it's like getting on track, staying on track. It's really looking at this is always going to be happening. You get to make healthy eating choices throughout the day, many times during the day. And it's really okay if there's a breakdown, and we get to look at what do we need to do differently to tweak that to set ourselves up for more success. So I love this because it's like a really simplified version, and there's like no shaming, which I think a lot of people really struggle with that. They really struggle with like, oh, I don't feel good about what I'm doing. I was wrong. And like, that's that whole diet mentality really sets you up for that
Right.
instead of it being a process.
Yeah, language is so key in all of this, which is why I always recommend with my clients that they do coaching and nutrition together.
Yeah.
I rarely offer them separately,
Right.
just because I believe so much in what I'm doing. But it's like they'll feel better. I used to be a personal chef as well, and so like I noticed that my clients felt better, but they still had stuff up here, and it's like, I remember working with a client, and we've been working together, and he was eating probably like 80% of my food, and then he would like eat out a little bit on the weekend, but it was never the food. So he had some
Mm.
like bloating stuff going on, which was it was actually more about like forgiveness and like
Yeah.
letting stuff go, like
Yep.
his digestive tract. And so that was like one of the first like seeds that was planted of like, oh, like diet's not enough. And this was like right after I was doing my health coaching certificate. So I was like new at coaching and had like started like incorporating that a little bit in my personal chef services, and then started seeing that crossover, and I was like, oh, like this is
It's
where
fascinating.
transformation happens. So
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of folks don't really realize it, that when we're looking at making changes in our health, it really is, there's a mindset that there are shifts that need to occur there first to
mhm.
really begin to experience success. And like when you are overweight, you're often holding on to
Yeah.
something, and there is something to let go of there. So I know we talked about the why, which is super important because it motivates us, how we can start to shift the mindset. And I think you said that there's a third step that you really
Yeah.
use in your work with clients.
Yeah, so the why, creating systems for them.
Yeah.
And then the third part is consistency, which is why I like to work with my clients long term. So I get to see
Yeah.
them through ups and downs of their life.
Mm-hmm.
And that provides accountability, the coaching, the nutrition, and then they start recognizing that it's normal to think about their thoughts. It's normal to be in the process of personal development. It's normal to care about what is going in. And like they start normalizing that, like, oh, I'm a sacred vessel. Like I feel amazing when I truly value myself and take care of myself. And then, that's why I don't really work with people for a month, because it's not long enough. So
No,
yeah.
it's so not. It's not long enough in what I do, because it really is about that. You've got to learn how to start to recognize the thoughts that are causing the problems, how to go in and transform those thoughts, how to catch yourself. Like, I mean, I've done a ton of personal development work, so I'm really good at like seeing it quickly
Mhm.
and shifting out of it. And that is it's a learned skill, and it is consistency is so key.
Yeah.
Across the board in like everything. So are there any like, because I want this to be fun and easy for people, are there any like quick tips or healthy eating hacks you could share that somebody could like leave this broadcast and like go implement and be successful with? But if not, it's okay.
Um, Should we choose a number? Like I have so many. I'm constantly
Yeah,
like playing this game of like how many can you catch and like trying to throw them at my
yeah,
clients and like see what sticks for them.
yeah.
Um,
Let's just do one
one,
strategy that folks can
just one.
start with.
I feel the
Just
pressure.
one.
Like it has to be my best one.
No, it doesn't have to be your best one. It's just what's one that's like a good start. Like just a good, I mean, like you kind of shared like overhauling your pantry can be really successful.
Yeah.
That's obviously like a longer term one, but is there one that's just kind of like, I mean, maybe it's even like what you were sharing earlier, like bring a lunch instead of eating out all the time.
I would say that some of the themes of what I like mindset, nutrition, language, and
Okay.
community. So I would say like I mean, I want to give you a nutrition tip, but really I'm a coach. So I'm going to give you a coaching tip, which is
I love this.
highly invest in your relationships. I believe you can measure the wealth of your life by the depth of your relationships.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
a lot of our cravings and emotional eating comes from like loneliness and wanting sweetness in your life, wanting connection. And I find that people that are really healthy, and there's a lot of really cool studies about it, these people living really long, it's because they have like beautiful relationships or like multi-generational relationships, but there's this core of community that is a huge part of health that not enough people talk about. So
I love that tip. That is absolutely, that's like a rock star tip. It really is, because like if you think about it, like who's in your life uplifts, supports you, encourages you. And like even just thinking like just even in a basic way, like I've got running buddies. It's super fun to go running with them. I've got workout friends, hiking friends, and it's like it's fun to share those activities with people. So I love this tip across the board. I think it's so fantastic. Megan, where can they find out some more information about like how to work with you if they're interested?
yeah, so I would love to announce that I just created a new offering today. I'm offering a full moon women's group virtual cooking class, and I'm really, really pumped about that. So the first one will be October 24th on the full moon. That was just created a few hours ago, and I feel really like in tune with that about creating community. Women traditionally like all came together on the full moon. And I think there's like this cool like kitchen witchery that's happening there.
Oh, I love
Um,
this.
Spoiler alert, I'm probably gonna have us howl at the moon at the end to sort of like wrap it up.
That's great.
I
I
think
love
I
it.
think we need a little bit more wildness in our women. I think like we get caught
Oh
up in
yeah,
the
let it
career and
out,
the
ladies.
to-dos and the shoulds. So I really want to offer
Yeah.
this community for us to learn, for us to nourish each other and like cook together. Um, so that will be up on the site later today. You can find me at authenticnutritioncoach.com, Instagram, Facebook. I'm on there. I
Yeah.
love, love, love connecting with amazing women. So shoot me a message, and I would love to support you on your health journey.
Awesome. All right, cool. Megan will probably go back in and drop a link here below
Yeah.
to make it really easy for y'all if you're catching this on the replay. If you guys have any questions for either of us, feel free to post them in the comments section or to just PM either of us. Both of us are very responsive. The other thing is just a reminder, I do Wellness Wednesdays every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific. I'm actually traveling to the East Coast, so it's going to be real interesting because it's going to be 6 p.m. But I'm going to make it work. So, Megan, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope everyone has enjoyed this. There was just so much knowledge shared. All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye, guys.